I love to finish the raw neckline of my Oceanside with twill tape to give it a finished look. I will be applying the 1/2-inch twill tape that you see here around the seam allowance where the hood attaches to the bodice. I will be leaving a 1-inch excess overhang of the twill tape on both of the front sides, the beginning and the end of my twill tape, that I will use to fold under the seam allowance for a clean look. I begin by folding the hood and the bodice together, right sides together, so that I'm looking at the wrong side of the garment where the hood attaches to the bodice. I will be applying the twill tape along the seam allowance, sewing along the top of the twill tape just to the left of the seam allowance, following along the line of the seam allowance, leaving my 1-inch overhang. I will begin edge stitching as close to the top of the twill tape as I can, and I will be using a color matched thread on top that matches my twill tape, and my bobbin thread will be color matched to match my garment. I will elongate my stitch length as long as it will go. On my machine, that is a length of 5, and I will be using a straight stitch on my standard sewing machine. Sew all the way around the length of the neckline, sewing just to the left of the serged seam allowance, attaching your 1/2-inch twill tape all the way around, and when you get to the other end, back stitch and leave a 1-inch overhang on your twill tape. Now you will take this 1-inch overhang and fold it under the seam allowance and fold your twill tape down to enclose the overhang. I will now be sewing along the bottom edge of the twill tape with a straight stitch all the way around the length of the neckline. Top stitch, sewing as close to the edge of the twill tape as possible. When you get to the other end, fold your overhang under, enclose it in the twill tape, and sew right to the end for a clean finish. Back stitch at the end, and you have completed the application of your twill tape, finishing the neckline in a professional fashion. I like to do this especially on the Oceanside because when the notch hangs open, it has a finished look along the neckline.